The world kept moving. The clock kept ticking, but I was stuck, frozen in the moment that the ground gave way. It's not the memory that traps you, it's the silence that follows. The weight of knowing something fundamental inside you has just shattered. You look around and everyone is moving too fast, laughing too loud, as if you're standing still in a room that's tilting. Everyone else catching their balance but you. They don't see the invisible glass wall. They don't hear the echo in the quiet moments. There is no map for this place. Just heavy air and the constant suffocating fear that if you try to speak, no sound will come out. I was still standing, but I was entirely alone.
But the silence didn't get lighter. In fact, it sometimes felt heavier. But one day, the echo felt different. It felt like a mirror, and I saw myself. How tired I was of fighting this battle alone. How tired I was of placing heavier weights on myself. But asking for help, that was the hardest moment. It felt like admitting defeat, like saying aloud that I'm weak, like giving away that last piece of control that I had. But it also felt like letting go. Letting go of what was holding me back. It felt like a hand had reached through the glass. It wasn't making amends or fixing everything. It was a lifeline. That social worker, NC Van, my family, my friends, they didn't try to erase the past. They just tried to help me write my future. They didn't tell me I was fine. They told me I was strong enough to pick myself up, to start walking. And that one step, the step out of the darkness, the step towards the light, it wasn't huge. It wasn't something that took time. It was just a decision, a breath, a start of a journey back to find myself.
Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's choosing to grow through the broken places. My pain became my purpose. The scars became my story. But my resilience required more than just enduring the pain. It required actively choosing to use my newfound strength to forge a better path ahead. To redefine what strength looked like required me to not use resistance, but to have acceptance of my own humanity. I'm not defined by what happened to me. I'm defined by the fact that I survived it, that I found my feet, that I found my voice. Now I look back at that isolating silence and I realize I was never meant to hold that burden alone. No one is. The instinct to pull inward, to protect our wounds is natural, but healing happens in the open, in the light, where other hands can reach you. That's why I speak. That's why we all are here tonight, to create the hand reaching out, to be the community, the support, the resource, to be the collective force that ensures no one else believes they must carry this weight alone. To anyone still standing behind that glass wall, know this: your story matters, your healing is possible, and your recovery isn't just for you. It's the light that can lead the rest of us home. I was trapped behind glass that only I could see. Niharika stood frozen by it. Ananya pushed against it. But a wall built of silence and fear can't hold against a community built on shared strength.
It is time to shatter the illusion of separation.
It is time to step through.
The wall is down. The glass is broken. It wasn't built of stone. It was built of fear.
We are here. The echo in the quiet moments, it used to suffocate me. I thought the weight was mine alone.
I remember that fear of admitting defeat, of saying aloud that I wasn't fine, but that vulnerability was the key.
The key to unlocking the truth. Resilience is not a solo journey.
It is a shared landscape. We are the architects of our own support.
I stood frozen, watching the world move too fast. Now, I choose my own pace.
I chose the hand that reached through the glass. I learned that letting go of control is the ultimate act of strength.
The pieces of what happened, they're not chains. They're mirrors reflecting the light we found. Our scars are our story. Our community is our strength. Look around. The isolation was a lie.
You don't have to carry the heavy air.
We are the map. We are the resource. We're the voice when yours feels lost.
To anyone still finding their way through the remnants of that wall, you are strong enough to pick yourself up. You are worthy of the
I came to this work a little different path that we all do. I was working in a shelter for domestic violence and sexual assault victims, and I was just planning to work for a little while, but accidentally discovered a passion because I learned so much from people about how they dealt with trauma and how they hung on and how they survived, and the incredible system challenges and obstacles and societal myths and things that they had to face as they were trying to recover from just happening to love someone or trust someone who turned out to be hurtful. And it's 25 years later and I'm still here because I'm still learning. So the more you learn, the more you realize you need to learn, kind of thing. But human experience is real, and trauma is real, and it ripples out into all of the community. And I feel that if we're going to be a truly growing good society, we need to address what causes trauma and to meet it with understanding and compassion and curiosity and love, so that we can lessen some of the pain and possibly prevent repeats of this type of thing. So I still feel that this collective sense of humanity makes a difference, and when I see what people who love someone who was murdered go through, I worked with some domestic violence victims that were murdered. I know lots of other advocates across the state who did, and it just rippled out, and it stays with you forever. And then eventually had friends who were murdered. But I think that it's people want to see it as something that's on TV or in movies, but the reality of it is just, the story is often about what happens decades later and to families, and what happens to how they cope and deal, and what happens to the dynamics in those families, with each of them having complex, really complicated grief that they're experiencing simultaneously, and how they're going to work through that individually, how they're going to work through that in their relationships, and then dealing with this cold system. So I'm really glad to be here, to support people that, whether
So my name's Charlene, and I did not know I was going to be on this stage today. But I am one of the volunteers with NCVAN, and I also am a master's student at North Carolina State University, getting my master's in clinical mental health counseling. And I absolutely love this profession. I love seeing my clients. And when I started the program, I moved to North Carolina about 5 years ago, and I was just looking for ways to get in the community because I'm not from this state. I don't know the Triangle area, but I was like, how do I get to know the people that are around me? And so NCVAN popped up, and I filled out an application to be a volunteer. I met an incredible team of people who are supporting this really small, unseen, just underserved community. I knew nothing about supporting those who had experienced a sudden traumatic loss. I knew nothing about our court system or how it worked, but was able to learn and continue to learn so much through this organization. And I come to events like this, but I also go to court with Teresa and many other wonderful volunteers to sit through trials when someone is caught and they're prosecuted, to help families navigate through what is a very broken and odd, complicated, frustrating system and process to go through for those who unfortunately have to experience it. And so supporting them, just understanding like, what's going on? What's that word that they just used? Who's this person in the courtroom? But also providing practical support, like, do you need a tissue? Do you need a pen? Or emotional support when it's just too much to be in that room, to be in that space. And I consider it like just honestly such a privileged space to be in. And through also my studies, I get to support my clients who unfortunately have also experienced traumatic sudden loss. And there's so much from this space that I get to bring into that work and educate and inform others on, and how we support those in their mental well-being and how to continue to live themselves and how to continue to go through their existence on this earth when it was shattered in a certain way that they couldn't have anticipated, a way that they didn't know how to anticipate or deal with.
Signals that students can look out for in themselves if they believe that they are undergoing trauma of any sort.
Yeah, I think the first thing is isolation. Isolation is probably the huge thing I would say that a student you can kind of feel yourself moving back from people, because the truth is when people have been traumatized or have experienced a sudden traumatic loss, the space to process it is necessary. So isolation is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is the initial thing that happens because that human being is trying to process what just happened.
One question I'd like to ask is, what are some barriers that individuals experience to getting help?
I'll let them stew, I guess, on that. Yes, so many barriers to getting help of all sorts of kind. First, I think people just don't know what resources are out there.
This has been a truly enlightening experience, and I'm very grateful for all the support we've received, and to my teammates Ananya and Aditi. Despite the challenges of this event, the outcome of this event was ultimately rewarding, and I would not have asked for a better day, teammates, or chapter. I have learned so much from NC Band, who have taught me about their mission and their cause. And to our guest speakers, thank you for your effort and time you have given to our event. This event would not have been possible without your presence, and we are sincerely thankful for your support. Thank you.
I mean, meetings on time, tasks impeccably carried out. And so I just really appreciate their hard work. And again, this is so important to me. And thank you for creating this conversation. Thank you for creating this space. I am so appreciative. And again, thank you all.